Hey there, it's Mark Helsel. I'm the founder and director of D1D National. So this video that I'm doing right now is a private message. It's only for the people who have completed the form. They've requested an invitation to try out for D1D National. So first and foremost, congratulations on that decision to request a tryout. You are literally one step closer to having an amazing experience in travel baseball. And I'm going to break it down in this short video right now because it's really important that we get on the same page early. Okay, so I got some notes in front of me here because I want to stay on track and make this as short of a message as possible. But it's so important that I'm going to make sure I hit the points that I think you need to know. First and foremost, D1D, Division I Development. That should tell you right away that we are separating ourselves from the masses in travel baseball. We're not trying to be all things to all people. We are a niche program focused on a smaller group of elite level players that we feel have the talent, God-given ability, some skills, and certainly parental support to play this at the highest levels, moving on to college and professional baseball. That's our niche. So everything we do is centered around that goal. As you could probably imagine, that separates us in a big way from the masses that are kind of meandering through the whole process. We're not meandering at all. This is very specific. Okay, this message is for parents and players. So if you're a parent watching this right now, stop the tape and get your son and sit down, because there's points in here that are for you as a parent, and there are definitely points that are for the player. And let's be honest, this is about the player, okay? This is about his goals, his dreams, his aspirations, so he needs to be engaged, okay? All right, at the very end of this message is a very, very, very important announcement. So you don't want to miss that. Stay till the end and you will be glad you did, okay? Let's start with me as the founder. I've been doing this for 20 years plus, helped probably close to 1,000 kids move on to the level. It's not about me, but I think it's important that people understand that there's a lot of experience built into this program. I've enjoyed it so much. Both my sons came through the program. I just wanted to stay and do what I do, which is help young athletes build a program that is catered toward them and help them move on to the next level. Okay? So let me break down the components of D1D that you need to know clearly that separate us from everything else. This is not a sales pitch, okay? In fact, we're the opposite. If we can scare you away, we will. Okay, we're not trying to be all things to all people. First and foremost, the coaches in our program have to be positive role models. So if you are fortunate enough to play for a D1D team, I am personally telling you that I have vetted each coach on the premise that they have to be a positive role model for these young men. I think that's severely lacking in a lot of youth sports. We see some crazy things happening with coaches, and we're going to run it really, really disciplined. So if you're playing for a D1D team, you definitely are going to have a coach that, at least in my opinion, is an excellent role model for these young men. Number two, we can never forget that this is about individuals. Yes, we're going to be team-centric. We're going to be an organization that cares about other people. But at the end of the day, teams don't get scholarships. Players get scholarships. And if a player is going to get a scholarship, he has to be an individual skilled enough to play at the next level. So we are a program that will focus on those individual skill sets. We have something called an IDP, an individual development plan, and it's different for everybody. Kids have different strengths and weaknesses, but I want you to know, we are focused on that. And sometimes it's not the easiest thing to hear, that your feet are too slow, or you're not physical enough, or your arm action isn't right, or you're misplaced, you're playing the wrong position. There's a lot of things that we're going to share with our players that they need to know, but it's not always the thing that you want you need it, but you might not want to hear it. And I have lots of examples of how that type of information changed the trajectory of a player's career. Okay, number 3, playing with peers. I mentioned it. This is an elite program. Our responsibility is to bring in players that have above average ability. A lot of you watching this may be the best player on your team. You may be the best player in your county. You may be the best player in your region. That's great. But you need to be with other players like that. So our players come from far and wide. We'll put them on a team. They are like-minded. They are very similar in their natural abilities. And that's really important. You really, I used to tell my son all the time, you really never want to be the best player on the team. If you are, you're on the wrong team. Okay, you want to be challenged constantly to hold your spot and to learn to compete. And that you only get that when you have other players just as good as you. Okay, schedules. I'm a huge critic of the schedules that a lot of these travel programs are putting together. They're making some people a lot of money because the travel, the tournaments are just raking it in, $3,000-$4,000 for a tournament fee. I will promise you, I'm not going to get into specifics right now, but our schedules are not going to look like your typical travel baseball schedules playing at watered down tournaments. It does us no good to go beat teams 14-0 and 18-0 and win the trophy every weekend. That is not the purpose of the program. I would rather challenge our players playing against elite level competition, sometimes even older competition, and get beat up. But that's where you learn how good you need to be to compete at that level. Okay, so our schedules are going to be very different. Parents, let me just talk about you for a second. In the travel ball circuit, whether you're talking to coaches, travel ball coaches, or college coaches, parents are really getting a bad rap. And in many cases, I hate to say it, deservingly, they are doing things that are ridiculous and crazy. Now, you may be a parent that doesn't do anything like that, but you may be with people who do. And I will promise you, as the leader and the director of this program, that will never be the case at D1D, because we corral our parents. We keep them, within some parameters. We have a training program just for parents. And they have to, fall in line, because they will end up hurting their son's chances of moving on to the next level with certain types of behaviors and actions. We don't want that to happen. So parents, I'm just telling you right now, I have no problem holding the line with parents. And I've done it for 20 years. I love parents. I was a parent, but we have parameters. We have things that will not fly in this program. And we run it like that. Okay, so if you're a parent that likes that, you're going to love our program, because you're not going to be around the crazies, at least not very long, because they don't last long in this program. Okay, finally, exposure. Everybody wants exposure. Exposure is a double-edged sword. You can get exposed if you're not ready for exposure. So a big part of our program is to develop these players the right way, starting as early as 12 years old, developing them all the way through to the point when they're 15, 16, 17, we can start thinking about exposure, putting them in front of college coaches when it makes sense, and getting them on to the next level. In this program, you will have to trust that we know what we're talking about when we're talking about development and exposure. We know what it looks like. We're guiding our parents and our players toward a goal. We never stop talking about the goal, but there is an element of trusting the process that you have to be comfortable with. When a player is ready for exposure, we will have no trouble getting eyes on him. With 20 years of experience and literally a database full of college coaches who have come to trust and respect, what we say about players, you are in good hands when it comes to, getting eyes on you, but not before you're ready. Okay? We don't want you getting scratched off lists because you got exposure before you were ready. Okay, so, wow, it's amazing how fast 10 minutes goes by. I'm going to wrap this up. That alone should give you a pretty good idea of what makes this program so special. There's so much more that I can't wait to share. I will be at the tryouts and I'll share more information at the tryouts. So here's the big announcement. If you've made it this far, you are invited to our tryout. Yes, we want you to come out because now you understand what this is all about. Maybe you don't want to come now because you heard about all the disciplines built in and you're not looking for that. Okay, that's fine. Maybe you're scared of competition. You want your son to be the best player on the team. No, but if you've made it this far and you like what I'm saying, I think you're going to like a whole lot more that's yet to come. So make sure you circle that tryout date on your calendar. Oh, one more point I need to make. These tryouts that we're having are for one team in an age group. So we have tryouts in West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Maryland, all over the place. That's for one team. So we're going to have kids from 3, 4, 5 states on one team. That should tell you how committed we are to having elite level teams. Okay, so cannot wait to see you at the tryout. Have a great day and get ready. Opportunity is knocking. Bye for now.